Ich gehöre längst nicht mehr zur Welt der Sterblichen. Ich fürchte hier nichts und niemanden. Willst du wissen, wer ich bin? Ich bin Vegeta!
And this is a titled video, my favorite version of Ippo. In my opinion, Ippo cannot get much greater than this. This is the best, most refined, most tactical, most thoughtful, most savage, most beastly, most indestructible, unbeatable Ippo ever. If this Ippo would have fought Sendo, Sendo would have got killed a long time ago and would have prayed into his career. Somebody said, what Sendo and what Ippo are you talking about? What Ippo could be so strong, so dominant, so monstrous that you would say so? It's blasphemous statements. And this is an Ippo that's potentially so strong that he can take out the likes of Ricardo Martinez himself. This is the Saint Ippo, my favorite version, the most savage version, the best version in my opinion. Some might say, who is this Ippo? It's quite simple. Alfredo Gift God Gonzalez Ippo is the strongest Ippo we've seen to date, the most proud Ippo we've seen to date. This is the strongest Ippo. What are you talking about? What did everybody say in the build up to the fight that Ippo was weaker? How come this should be your favorite version of Ippo? Let me explain. A lot of people say their favorite fight is one of their favorite fights is Ippo versus Sendo, or it's the Kurosawa fight. And somebody say, well, people love the Kurosawa fight more than most anything else. It's pretty simple. They enjoy how dominant Ippo was in the fight, and that's it. Which I don't see why being dominant in a fight means anything when, depending on the quality of competition, it doesn't mean anything. If you beat up a bum, what does it matter? He's a bum. He's an Uber driver. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Get in there, take the money, get beat like a punching bag. But the reason why I love this Ippo so much is the courage, the courageousness, and how willing he was to win. And I'll get into what Ippo says later and how that doesn't really make too much sense of why he'll be so harsh on himself. But let's start off from the beginning. We got the introduction of one of the best characters in Hajime Ippo to date, Alfredo Death God Gonzalez, the Death God of Mexico, the opposite, the darkness to Ricardo Martinez, who wrote it light. Alfredo Gonzalez is number one in my opinion, one of the best characters in Hajime Ippo to date. I don't care what anybody says, and this is why I made the video. I was glad that his career is over, for we have to see him get turned into a journeyman. Like seriously, who doesn't like Death God Gonzalez? The man is a savage. It doesn't matter if he's a glass candy. The man is a beast, and the way he was just like Ippo, you think you can make it on the wheel? Like you need help? The way he said it before the match even started, the way he was just like, hey, Ricardo, if I beat Macanucci, will you allow me to fight you for a third time? Martinez just like, Ippo Macanucci? Who the hell is that? I never heard no Ippo Macanucci. Alright, man, just say whatever you want, but I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna get that number one rank again, and I'm gonna show you myself. And like Bill still just like, oh, you really didn't remember it? Oh, they killed the Dimchiro. Oh, only if he would remind me of that, then I could have warned him that it's gonna be dangerous. It's gonna be dangerous. So let's get into the aspect. Before I get into why I love this Ippo deeply, let's get into the whole merit of, was Ippo weaker against Alfredo Gonzalez or not? I would say no. And why would you say no? Like Mishiba said it, Sendo said it, Takamura suspected it. We got all these type of things. It was implied by Miguel after the Wally fight. So why wouldn't you believe that Ippo is weaker? Well, the same reason why Joe Yabuki wasn't weaker for most of the fight against Jose Mendoza. I see it as that same reason. It's just like Nakota against Ralph Anderson. He was doing fantastically until he got rabbit punched. That is the exact same one I see Ippo from the merit of. No matter whether he was weaker during the sparring or not, when he got into the actual fight with Gonzalez, he was the strongest he's ever been. The most refined, the most tactical, the most back to the basics, the most like this is like one of the best Ippos that's ever showed up on screen. In my opinion, that's what he was. And to me, like, no one can argue that he was the most refined, he was the most tactical, he was the one that was the best. Hands down, was the best. In my opinion, he was the greatest version of Ippo we've seen today. So in my opinion, the way I see the whole, or was he weaker or not type thing, I see it as, yes, in the merit of overall, Ippo was weaker. But when he got into the ring with Gonzalez, he was the strongest he's ever been. Even if he was weakened to like, maybe like, let's say his top is like 99. Even if he was weakened to like 87 against Sendo, when he walked into the ring against Gonzalez, he was at least like a 93, 95. He was like the strongest he ever was to date, in my opinion. Like the training, the effort he put in to fight Gonzalez is just. Let's get to the main point. Why this Ippo is my favorite version. It is the fight against Gonzalez that is arguably better. You can't really do it beside from the Gonzalez versus Ippo fight. It is fantastic. Some of the panels, some of the 3D, some of the angles and panels of the Gonzalez fight is nothing less than amazing. Like some of the angles, like look at how deep Ippo is going in. Look at that 3D angle. Look at that artwork. Look at that artwork. And then the story and everything that was built around it. Freddy Gonzalez believing that Ippo doesn't even have a chance, just like he's a joke, he's a dinosaur. Like seriously, he come up with me with these outdated techniques. I'm a modern day like hybrid boxer, and Ippo just a dinosaur that's basically I'm gonna take out the pastor and prove that he's not made for the world stage at all. And the best part about it is the story behind the fight itself. So the fight starts, Gonzalez is just like, he's throwing out jabs, double jabs, and like Ippo's doing well, he's not taking too much damage, and I still don't see why people find the whole face block to be the thing, because arguably, you could say blocking with your forehead and trying to break somebody's hand is a legit strategy, but hey, what do I know? It's not like you need your hand to fight or anything, but, the initial fight itself, the way it just like Ippo kept trying to get in deep, and then one of the best scenes ever when Ippo finally got in deep and was just like, alright, the next round, blam, Gonzalez caught his bitch ass. Out of nowhere he changed it straight into a right hook, and it nearly ended Ippo's entire career, put him to sleep. He was laid out across the mat. It was just like, what happened? Yes, they were singing to Gonzalez's tune all along. They wanted you to get used to the right, the double jab. They wanted you to get used to the arrows. They wanted you to do this because it was part of the plan from the very beginning. And they set Ippo and the coach up so well. It was you could nearly shed a tear because they played him like a fiddle. Ippo played his part fantastically. And he was just like, jeez, like he worked out that well. And then Ippo gets back up. And this is another fantastic part where I love the fight. Ippo's will to win, but we'll get to that. Ippo gets back up and it's just like, all right, he's just like, I forget what immediately happened, but it turns into go to the ring. They have a few scramble, like Ippo, like he loses the rest of the match. And then the next match is just like, all right, Gonzalez, time for you to explode. Gonzalez's coach is like, time for you to explode. Go in and attack him, beat him, destroy him. And just like, Ippo's just like, can I take the hands off the Demchiro? He's just like, the coach is just, yeah. Showing that Ippo will no longer break his, well, showing the first few signs of Ippo like, alright then, I'm gonna try something more. And ask the coach permission before using the Demchiro. Because sometimes you just use it and just, it will backfire. Like against Summon Ryuhei, which he should never use it against Summon Ryuhei. If you knew that Ryuhei had the ability to counter it, but he didn't know when Ryuhei was going to use it, or the fact that he was going to back up across the ropes and do it. So, but against Gonzalez, the way this animal, the way this monster, did he even back down from the Demchiro? Like how else do I supposed to describe this man? He's an absolute beast. Like the fact that he didn't even back down from the Demchiro was just like, all right then, that's the best you can do. That's all you got? Really? This is the best Makunouchi can do? What? You don't deserve to be on here. And this goes back to a reason why Gonzalez is on top, and the reason why Gonzalez lost to Ricardo Martinez, because he will go into mixer mode, and you see at first against Demchiro Ippo, like he was very dominant, and then later on in mixer mode, he starts to think too much. He started to use his brain too much. He started to turn back into regular Gonzalez. And that would just happen. Sadly, Gonzalez is a glass cannon. He can't help, no, he can't help. He just can't. But and then it goes into, Ippo did change his liver blow of morale. You know, he used to cave into the body in the angle like a left hook uppercut, like he's Sendo's, like he's doing a smash. But then he changed it. And then, oh boy, the fight continues. And then Ippo catches him. He goes to the liver blow. Oh no, Gonzalez said, I already knew about that, Sonny. He goes to the liver blow, and Ippo switches straight up to his head. He's going to decapitate Gonzalez in front of all of us. He's going to kill him. And then Gonzalez blocks. And he was just like, darn it, he blocks it. Darn. Ippo was so close. No, it went through. It went through. Now it's Gonzalez the one who got his brain rocked. And then they go for a duel exchange, blam, and then Ippo just like, damn it, he's still alive. No, Gonzalez goes down. My God, Gonzalez has went down. The surprise of Gonzalez Gonzalez actually going down is just, to me, is amazing. It is amazing. I love that the entire scene. It just is a fantastic put together scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in the entire fight. It was just like they duel exchange and then Gonzalez goes down. And then like he gets back up, it gets better. Cause like Ippo's like, you want to continue? Let the match stop. And this goes into why this is my favorite Ippo. What precedes this next is why this is my favorite Ippo. Gonzalez is like, Gonzalez's coach got to remind him what he is. You know, he's the sun god of Mexico. I think like the sun god of Mexico. He's like the sun god. Oh yeah, just like I've always been looking up to the sun since I was a child, since I was in them alone, abandoned streets. And then it's like I've always been chasing him. I've always been looking up to him, Ricardo Martinez. And then it's just like with Ippo. Like to this date, you've never heard Ippo tell the coach, do you think I should finish it now? You have never heard him say that. You've never heard Ippo ever tell the coach, should I go in there and finish it now? Ippo, what do you mean should you go in there and finish it now? Like Ippo thought he could take out Gonzalez. Ippo believed 100% that he could finish off Gonzalez. I was like, wait, what? Like you've never heard Ippo say that. You want me to go in there and finish him now? What? What do you mean? Go in there and finish him now, Ippo. What do you mean? Fantastic. And then like Gonzalez is like, I'm heading out. And Ippo's like, alright, then let's do this. And the fight continues. And he's like, damn it, go down, damn it. He should have been knocked out already. And Ippo's like, nah, courage. I've been waiting for this. I told you coach can work on the real estate. And then Gonzalez gets uppercutted again. He falls back across the ropes and he's just like, he's dazed. He's dizzy. He's partially confused. He's just like seriously, Ricardo Martinez is that close. He brings himself together. Ippo goes in for a final punch, and only if Ippo could have potentially telegraphed what was about to happen. Only if Ippo would have, just tried to delay him going in deep and try to go for like a counter or something. Well, not like a counter, but try to weave out the way and go for like a counter. A Peekaboo stance type counter. Only if he would have tried to do that, then it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. But Ippo did it. Ippo tried to go for the right hand, and sadly with him going for the right hand, he got knocked out cold by Freddy Gonzalez. It is very sad to see that one of the best versions of Ippo gets knocked out cold and put to sleep like he was Manny Pacquiao versus Marquez, which I believe was the inspiration for that knockout entirely. Cause it looks, when Ippo fell down, he looks just like Pacquiao. So it's just like Ippo tried so hard, and he wanted to win so bad. He wanted to win so bad that sadly in this case it just wasn't good enough. And like, you've never seen Ippo this courageous. You've never seen Ippo want to win this bad. You haven't seen Ippo like this since then. So to me it's just like, this is the best. This is the strongest. This is the most fantastical one. But somebody say, what about the chapter afterwards, where Ippo was just like, oh, all thing I wanted to do was show the coach that it can work on the world stage. That's a lie. Now, Ippo's always been harsh on himself. He's always been like this. He always didn't, like, when he explained it to his friends or something, he didn't really put that much, like, he doesn't really hype himself up. He's similar to me, just, he has an ego to a point, but he never tried to oversell himself. So Ippo's saying, oh, he just wanted to show how like show the coach that he could work on the world stage. That's a lie. Because during the dialogue of the actual fight, it wasn't about showing, like, it stopped being about showing off what it's about on the world stage, and it turned 100% into, all right, coach, I should go in there and finish him. Because that's literally what he said. Should I go end it now? And like ever since then, we've never seen that, like, Ippo so willing to, like, win. Like Ippo was like with courage. He was just taking punches that would knock out normal men, and he was just eating them for lunch. That was lunch and dinner for this man. And it was just like, never since then we've ever seen an Ippo like this. Never since then. It's one of the most brave, one of the most courageous, one of the most strongest, one of the best versions of Ippo we've ever seen. And ever since then, we've never seen it. We've never seen Ippo like this ever again. So, in my opinion, the best version, my favorite version of Ippo is the one that went against Alfredo Gonzalez. Cause that Ippo was so courageous, was so strong, was so willing, was so brave. Was just like, even though his style wasn't even working, and Gonzalez was ripping him to shreds in the infighting, he didn't give up. He always believed. He always tried. He was intent on winning. Eventually, something was going to work. Now, I would say this, even then, Ippo didn't use his full arsenal. He could have tried to go for the gazelle punch, but he never did. Which, I don't know why. And he could have tried the Dempsey combination, but after the Dempsey roll didn't work, it was kind of a little bit too late to try to do the Dempsey roll, because it was already close into an infight, and Gonzalez was just going to try to fight like he was Sembukuro anyway. So, Ippo was using a dip combination. Like, Ippo didn't use any fates in that fight either. So there are things Ippo could have done better. Like, as it referred to his jab was just fine. Because, like, with his jab, it is involved to the point where it could be used as a slight feint and cause someone to block downwards because of the liver blow. And he's really going for your head and go for a decapitation. So it's not like Ippo wasn't changing up his style or didn't improve. He just didn't use any feints like he could have. And didn't use the gazelle punch in my opinion like he could have. But besides from those two things, Ippo did a fantastic job against Gonzalez. And he could have won if he just would have expected that one last counter. But even though he didn't, he still gets points in my books. And he's still my favorite Ippo. Like, even going back to reread that fight, there was a period of time where I didn't want to read the fight. Because the same way I felt with Joe Yabuki, when I found out how I actually know Joe was going to end, and he was just like, I don't know if I can bring myself to watch that fight. It was the same with Ippo versus Gonzalez. I was dodging this fight. I was avoiding this fight. I wasn't trying to watch it. And then I finally got around to, let's do it, man. Because I already knew that Ippo was going to lose in the fight. So I was like, screw it, let's do it. Let's get into this. And the panels and the angling, my goodness, it's just, the panel work from George is some of the best in the series to date. But the only one close to that is when he went against Antonio, when he was doing the new Denturo, and just look at that speed, look at that head movement. Fantastic. So it is the best version of Ippo. It's one of the best fights in the series. Got some of the best panel work. And you've never seen Ippo so brave, so on the brink of learning what it means to be strong throughout the entire series. Because Ippo versus Sendo wasn't like this. Even much as I love that version of Ippo as well, he wasn't like, should I go on there and end Sendo? It was just like, I gotta put Sendo down. He might go down, he might not. I gotta win this fight. But with Gonzalez, this is the only time, as I could remember, that Ippo was 100% like, I can end this man's whole career. I can end this fight right here and now. You've never heard Ippo do or say such a thing since then or before. Because every other fight, whether he was getting beat or heard him say that he was going to end it now. But against Gonzalez, he was like, I'm going to end it right here. Like, coach, you want me to end it right here, right now? I can end this right here, right now. Excuse me. But, yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. I'll know you guys' personal opinion of what's your favorite version of Ippo, or favorite Ippo fight, but I just love everything around that version of Ippo, like the build up to the fight, the way he was training and shit. And what about the symbolism with the Miguel and the Wally fight, and how eventually, you know, Ippo gonna reach a brick wall because, you know, he's taking all these tough challenges back to back, and he's not really taking too much of a break, and he's just eventually gonna reach like physical fatigue eventually. I like that element as well, but it's just, to me, this is my favorite version of Ippo. Like, there haven't been Ippo, or like it built such a blueprint of how Ippo can end up later, because everybody's just like, oh, what monster Ippo gonna look like? In my opinion, that's my version of monster Ippo, because Gonzalez was shaking in his boots. When he saw that version of Ippo, he was just like, no, he actually believes. Like I brought up earlier, Gonzalez actually took back what he said. Mentally, it was just like, nah, it's not about if you can make it to Ricardo Martinez. I can't allow you to make it. No, no. Gonzalez was shitting bricks like Ippo can actually beat Ricardo Martinez with the peekaboo stance and the Dimchiro. He was just like, with his tenacity, with his builds, he was like, no, I can't allow this to happen. It was more than like he gave him in the final few moments before he gave him the juice to be like, nah, I can't allow him to ever think about or even get to Martinez. At first I thought he just wasn't good enough. Now I see what he actually got. Nah, I can't allow him. It'll be too much of a risk to let him beat McCartney and go against Martinez. It'll be too much of a risk. If you don't even know how Ricardo Martinez, how Freddy Gonzalez got past, you know, the motionless jab, how Ippo would deal with the motionless jab, or that version of Ippo would deal with the motionless jab. And it was just, there's so much around that fight that's fantastic. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you comment, like, and subscribe. Besides from that, there's going to be some ramblings, and it just, in my opinion, this is the best version of Ippo. You've never seen another Ippo like this to date. So willing to end the fight with 100% belief that he can actually go to the world stage. It's just, it's not the best Ippo. Like, technique, physical wise, IQ, everything in my opinion, speed. And I don't know what I say this. Antonio Guevara does have, that version of Ippo does have better speed and head movement because of the all-new Dimchiro. Because in my opinion, the evolution of the Dimchiro would lead into an evolution of Ippo's fighting style to allow him to throw punches like a gazelle. Like you see against Antonio, you see what I'm talking about. I might show a few images here. That Ippo was like faster, but he wasn't smarter. He wasn't as endurance, and arguably, you can argue that he wasn't as physically stronger either. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's me, Boy Shockwave King. I know you guys' thoughts and opinions. What is your favorite version of Ippo? And besides from that, what is your favorite Ippo fight? Because me, personally, until otherwise, it will always be Ippo versus Gonzalez. Alfredo Death God Gonzalez will be the best fight. One of the best character showings of Ippo to date. But yeah, it's been Mr. Shockwave King. Hope you guys liked the video. Hope you like, comment, subscribe, and peace.